Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. If this is your first time watching, welcome to my beauty entertainment channel. Yay yay. If you'd like to follow me on social media, here's my Twitter and my Instagram. They're on the screen. Yep. And you should, since you're already here and you're already watching, you could subscribe. I'm not forcing you to. I would never ever do that, but you're already here. You might as well just subscribe. That's 2. 3, you should check out some of my recent videos after this one or before this one, don't really matter. I posted a video yesterday talking about Megan Thee Stallion's label and how they're a bunch of leeches and these fake Twitter professionals and how everyone's a lawyer. All of a sudden something bad happens to her. And then before that I posted a video that's actually related to today. It was how Fenty Beauty changed the makeup industry. And then before that, I don't know why I don't just memorize it before. Then before that, I talked about which new artists are having the best new-ish artists are having the best rollout and best come-ups that we're seeing so far. So yes. Okay, so last week I made this video talking about how Fenty Beauty and the brand like changed the beauty industry for the better. I did in that video. We talked about how it caused people to hold, people to hold brands even more accountable for having adequate shade ranges and, you know, caring about people darker than paper bag, because most of these brands don't. So yeah, I spoke very positively about Fenty Beauty. It was a very positive video. Today, not so much. It's not so, as you can tell by the title of this video, it's another Garrett with me. Okay, whatever. So today we're going to be talking about Morphe brushes. Yes, I think it's Morphe. That's the name of their brand. So if you were unaware, this week Jaclyn Hill and Morphe got into yet another like scandal, tit for tat scandal about their launches. And in my opinion, a lot of the scandals have been like, man, like that's bad, but man, this one to me seemed a little bit more serious, and it led me to start thinking about all of the shady things that Morphe has been doing for the past like 4 or 5 years that I've known that they existed. So I went down a rabbit hole. Okay. So in case you're unaware of what happened this week, so to make a long story short, the original Jaclyn Hill palette that came out in 2017 recently had a formula change. And the reason, you're probably wondering, okay, what's the big deal? Brands do formula changes all the time. So the issue with this formula change, this is so much product. Okay, wait. The original Jaclyn Hill palette was vegan. And then it's not vegan anymore. That was what's the big deal about this formula change. It went from being a vegan product to no longer being a vegan product. That's not even the issue. The issue is Morphe didn't tell nobody that they made a vegan product non-vegan again. They didn't tell anyone. The only reason any of us know is because this YouTuber, Jen Loves Reviews, did a whole video. She basically had figured out that they changed something about the palette, and one of her subscribers, I think, brought it to her attention that it used to be on the vegan section of their website and now it's not anymore. And Morphe has done some like shady stuff in the past, but in my humble opinion, this kind of takes the cake. Like, they changed, first of all, they changed the formula with which brands do all the time. So like, that's not the big deal. The big deal, they didn't tell nobody. And it was a very drastic, vegan to not being vegan anymore is a very drastic change that your consumers, especially the ones who are vegan, should absolutely be talking about. Here's the thing, because if it's vegan, it's because a lot of more people now are cruelty free with their makeups. They don't wear brands that aren't cruelty free. So, and if it's vegan, it's guaranteed cruelty free, I'm pretty sure. So that's a big deal. 1, 2, people could possibly be allergic to non-vegan makeup. And the thing is with this, because we found this out through not the company. We didn't find this out from the company. We don't know when this change happened. There's been There's been speculation that this change could have been at as early as 2018. They have gone 2 years changing the form. They changed the formula. They made a vegan product non-vegan and didn't tell anybody. That is ridiculous. That is so messed up. Like, if it 2018 was 2 whole years ago. People have been buying that palette for 2 whole years. People, me, I've been recommending that palette to people for like 2 whole years. No, for like 3 whole years, and I had no idea they changed the formula. I've been telling people to buy the palette forever. And now I'm sitting here boo-boo the fool. Because what if I recommended a bad palette? Because I have the original Jaclyn Hill palette. I have the original one. Since they changed it, I don't know what this new one is like. But anyway, so that basically started my whole deep dive into Morphe as a brand and thinking about some of the stuff that they have done in the past. So let's just go down the timeline of Morphe as a brand. It'll help. It'll make things a lot easier. So Morphe started out, it was this private labeled company. What that basically means is they bought palettes and brushes, I think wholesale, and then resold them to consumers. So that already started an issue because they didn't tell nobody they were doing that. I mean, you don't have to tell anybody that you're doing that regardless, but again, Morphe is a track record of letting other people find stuff out like that. Like, the only reason people knew that it was wholesale, I mean, you could have assumed, but the only reason people knew is because people found the eyeshadow palettes on AliExpress and were like, oh, these are $2 instead of $25. So I think the original Jaclyn Hill palette was the first palette that they didn't private label, perhaps. They actually created their own formula for that palette. That's why it was pretty good. However, that palette got leaked via cake. There was a baker who was making the cake for the launch party or whatever, and the cake person leaked it. I don't know how that happened. I'll keep this in mind because I'm coming back to this leaking situation later. Then the whole vault fiasco happened. So if you don't know, Morphe and Jaclyn Hill decided to collaborate a second time on a vault collection. These are supposed to be reject shades from her first palette, those shades that didn't make it into the original Jaclyn Hill palette. So the first round of palettes went out in PR and they were terrible. I don't know if people still have any of their reviews up from the original one. Morphe might have paid them all to take it down. They were terrible, absolutely terrible. So then Morphe like took all the palettes back, like recalled them or whatever, and said, we are so committed to quality. This can't happen. This can't happen. We're gonna take every single one of these palettes back and we're gonna give you guys what you deserve. Lies, fraud, all of it. Because guess what they claim to do? Looking back, so what Morphe and Jaclyn Hill claimed that they did is they got all the palettes. They depotted, look, this is nuts. They depotted every single vault palette and replaced the shadows with new shadows. And they said this only after the second round of vaults went out and people were like, we still have the same batch codes, the same components as the original like launch. And people were like, what's up with that? I thought you were changing the formula. This was their excuse, that they actually, this major corporation depotted every single eyeshadow of those vault palettes and replaced them with new shadows. Do you see? Literally, that is the biggest lie. That is the biggest lie I've possibly ever heard in my life. There's no way that that's true. There is no way that that actually happened. And people bought it. They're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. You definitely did that. And then they collaborated with that man on a brush collection that was ass. And then we got to the James Charles Morphe collaboration, which I think next to the Jaclyn Hill launch is the biggest collaboration Morphe has had, or the most successful. Like that was a really big deal. So he did that collaboration, and that was one of the only influencer collabs that they have done that did not get leaked. Please keep this in mind. Morphe, they then collaborated with Jeffree Star again on a palette that is ugly or whatever. Then, so Morphe, they collaborated with Jeffree Star and then they collaborated with Manny MUA late last year, I'm pretty sure. And then throughout this time, Morphe has had collabs with other influencers. They had Nikita Dragon got a collab with them. How? I don't know. It was like 5 red lipsticks. Anyway, it was like 5 red lipsticks for like a gazillion dollars. It really wasn't, but it was a weird collab. And then Bretman Rock actually had a collab with them, that highlighter palette, which I love. I don't use it anymore. I think it's at home, but when that thing came out, I used that like it was the only thing I had. That was actually a very good collaboration. So yeah, that's their track record with influencer collabs. I have a whole video talking about influencer collabs and the issues that they can cause. So if you want to hear more detail on that, go watch that video. But anyway, now we get to Lipstick Gate in 2019. Now there's some speculation after the lipstick fiasco happens and Jaclyn released those blurry documents on YouTube. There's now speculation that Morphe actually owns shares of Jaclyn Cosmetics. And I don't think many people actually care if they own it or like partially own it or not. But the fact that they're going to such lengths to hide it, it's like, sis, just we know. Like we already know, so you might as well just like give it up because people already know. Okay. And then now we're in 2020 and the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 fiasco happens. It just happened in the past month. First, it's leaked, because what else is new? We're almost there. What else is new? And then it gets released in the strangest of ways. Jaclyn Hill like comes back to YouTube and cries and then is like, yeah, there's a new product coming, so I need you guys to support me. And then it's a Morphe collab and we're like, okay, y'all have fun with that. Now, this brings me to my first point, why I've been saying wait for it. Leaking products. Now, I am absolutely not saying that Morphe invented leaking products. I'm not saying that. However, I am saying that it is a little strange that almost every single one of their influencer collabs has leaked except the James Charles one. This is very tinfoil hatty, so if you don't like that, leave. Okay, like we're about to. Okay, not every brand leaks their own products, but I do believe that some do. So why would a brand leak their own product? Sympathy points is a main reason for me, because when people are like, oh, well, she got her collab leaked. That is so sad. And it works. It's like, oh, that's so sad. Let me buy it and support her. Sympathy points go further than you might think. Another reason is to see exactly what kind of hype will be surrounding the palette, so they can get kind of like a idea before it actually goes live of who's interested, how many people are interested, what demographics are the people who are interested, so they can know exactly what marketing strategies to be using to actually roll out the actual launch of the product, so they can like narrow it down. Yep, this is that e.l.f. concealer again. I told you guys, this is a hit. This is an absolute hit. Anyway, so why would a big brand like Morphe, because the thing is, they didn't do this for the James Charles palette, and the reason why I don't think they leaked the James Charles palette is because they knew that palette. I'm not sure how well that palette actually, I don't know how many units it actually sold, but I know it had to be more than 1 million. Like like I think they knew with James Charles's demographic that was a guaranteed sellout, a guaranteed 4 or 5 sellouts from what I've seen. I think Jaclyn Hill should have been a guaranteed too, but I feel like James Charles, with his fan base being so young and wanting to we'll just buy anything with his name on it, I think Morphe like knew like this is going to do, we don't need to fake anything, this is going to do very, very, very well. So why would a big brand like Morphe need sympathy points? Let's discuss. All right, where did Morphe even come from? Where did Morphe even come from? I want you to tell me in the comments who and where you first ever heard of Morphe. I want you to tell me in the comments who you first heard of Morphe. Are you kidding me? I'm using their brushes right now and I literally am shedding their whatever. I want you to tell me who and when you first heard of Morphe. It was probably from an influencer back in 2016, 2017. That's when everyone heard about Morphe. So when I was looking for my research for this video, I was looking and I was like, Morphe had like an exponential growth for a brand new brand. Like Morphe was, oh, okay, wait, I'm using this ColourPop highlighter for the first time in like a while because I was feeling frisky. Yeah, that's light as hell. That is light as hell. That is white. Anyways, so I was looking and I'm like, Morphe really had some like exponential growth. Like they really sort of came out of nowhere. As soon as like 3 influencers started talking about them, 12 influencers. Then it went to like 16, then it went to like 24. Like it grew so quickly. And they started becoming popular and actually getting levels of almost prestige due to this very heavy influencer-led marketing tactic. And this influencer-led marketing tactic, I'm not saying they invented this, but I'm saying they really popularized it. The undisclosed sponsorship, because here's the thing, almost not all of them, but almost every single influencer we heard talking about Morphe at the very beginning was absolutely getting paid, and we knew we were beautiful. We knew absolutely nothing about it. We didn't know anything until Here for the Tea actually opened our eyes to what exactly a Morphe discount code was, and how most of those influencers who were talking about Morphe so highly were getting paid. I don't think you guys understand. If you remember YouTube at the time, Morphe was being shoved down our throats, and they were getting paid and we had no idea. We would watch reviews of someone's like, here's the new 35O, 35S, whichever, 35Z. It's so incredible, it's so amazing, and my dumbass would go buy it. Like a fool, played me like they did it well. Morphe, listen, they did this very well. That was excellent work. So of course people bought it because the idea of an undisclosed sponsorship wasn't known to most people. The discount codes, influencer discount codes weren't completely they were like brand new at that time. That's another thing that I think Morphe had a leg in making completely more not normalized, but like kind of normalized, was influencer discount codes. They weren't the first. I'm pretty sure it was either Sigma or it was them or it was Makeup Geek that had the first influencer codes, but whoever it was, I do think Morphe like kind of drove it forward. And there's nothing wrong with discount codes, like I'm not saying that, but the undisclosed sponsorships, the complete and blatant undisclosed sponsorships, Morphe bought their name, they bought their prestige, they bought their own success. Instead of releasing like good products, this brand was created on a literal farce. This brand was created on a legitimate lie. This brand, not a lie, more of like withholding of the truth. Withholding of the truth. And they were selling, because the thing is, the products weren't that good. They were wholesale palettes. You could buy it on AliExpress for 15 times less. But now your favorite beauty person, they get a code and they're like, oh, let me go spend $25 on this piss poor eyeshadow palette. Because I can, because my fave said that it's good, even though they did not tell me that they got paid to say that it was good. How interesting, how interesting. And this is my thing, I say it again, Morphe played the smart game. They said, you know what, we don't have time to make good products. You know, I'm not really feeling, you know, like I'm not feeling putting a ton of effort into making some good products. How about we buy wholesale, which a lot of brands do, it's fine. Buy wholesale, we're gonna sell them. But you know what we're gonna do? We're going to pay hefty, I don't know where they got this money from. Never mind, that's legal. We're gonna pay hefty prices. So these big, already established. James Charles was the only not already established influencer that they paid. His growth with them has been one and the same. It's quite interesting to me. We're gonna pay these people to promote these wholesale palettes that are not that good, but it works. It worked. This game was played. They were playing chess with us. They were playing chess with us. And it's very interesting to think back Morphe legitimately came out of no. Jaclyn Hill collaborated with Becca Cosmetics. Becca Cosmetics was very, very popular at the time that Jaclyn Hill collaborated with them. And then she went and collaborated with Morphe. Then James Charles, who has this exponential growth, who could probably get a collab with any brand he really wanted to, chose Morphe. The Skeleton Man claims that he turned down other brands to collaborate with Morphe. First of all, I don't believe that for a second. None of these established brands would touch Jeremiah Starfish, Starburst, Star, etc. with a 10-foot pole. They wouldn't. He's too dangerous. The man is mean. He is mean and his past is ugly. None of those brands are I'm sorry. Benefit gave him like a mini brow product with his face on it because that was the safest option. Don't play in my face. Don't play. No one is collaborating with you, Jeffrey. Why is Morphe the only one who will collaborate with that man? What we could discuss. Why is Morphe is the only person who collaborates with him? Because no other brand would touch him ever. He radiates disgust. Anyways, so let's talk about the products now because I think this is actually kind of interesting. So Morphe did a whole rebrand for themselves in like late 2017, early 2018, and they changed all the packaging of their products. They got rid of old products to make way for new products. Like they got rid of the 35B palette and made way for the Morphe James Charles palette. And they also started upping their prices, which nobody talks about. Morphe's been slowly but surely every year upping their prices, and I'm like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Anyway, so I would say Morphe sort of had the market cornered. Like they were doing very, very well up until 2019. Everything they released would sell out. There'd be so much hype around all of their products, and then they released that foundation and dug their own grave. Like I discussed in my how Fenty Beauty changed the beauty industry video, people saw through it. People saw through it. People saw through what they were doing. They were just trying to beat the number with the 60 because let's discuss these 60 shades. 20 of the shades were warm beige, which is the darkest color they post on their Instagram is warm beige. 15 were green as in the Grinch, as in Oscar the Grouch. They were green, and then the other ones were irrelevant. Completely, it made no sense. And you see how no one, not even the Morphe people who have been promoting their code forever, ever even discussed the foundation. It's like it never happened because they're trying to erase it. If I would stop selling it because I know not a soul actually, no one uses that. Nobody uses that. And since then, like you can go back, watch the review, people saw them up, the reviews, people swatch them, go watch them. It's terrible. There's a reason that didn't do well, and that ever since then, they've been missing the mark every single time. Pre that foundation launch, Morphe was doing, I'm not saying they're doing badly, they're not doing badly by any means now, but I'm talking about like pre-foundation, post-foundation, like two different Morphes. Their new releases are not hitting. They're not doing what they use because they can't. They ran out of ideas. They're done. Things aren't selling out. Things aren't being talking about as much. I think it's most also because people have grown hip to their absolutely shady business practices, and like the products aren't good enough for people to ignore it. Like people ignore for other companies, their products aren't good enough for people to be ignored. For these shady business practices to be ignored, the products aren't good enough. People aren't buying the palettes anymore because they're not good. And now you've told people that your only good palette, you've changed the formula of your only good palette. They dug their own grave. They dug their own grave by even, why would you mess with a good thing? Why would you mess with your only good, the original Jaclyn Hill palette is pretty much the only untainted Morphe product that they have ever come out with, and they ruined it. To save money, probably. Is it worth it? Was it worth it? Was it worth it? It's not. Come talk to me in about 6 months, it's not gonna be worth it. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. The brushes, I used to be like, okay, Morphe has cheap good brushes. They're not cheap anymore. They keep the price. Every time I went to go order one in the past year, price going up a whole dollar. The brushes are not good. The only good brushes that are they shed like hell. They shed literally like a dog. They shed. Their best line is the Elite line, but those are not cheap. They're not cheap. So they completely took away their only cheap good brushes. That's gone. And they ruined the Jaclyn Hill palette. Dug your own grave. Dug your own grave. The foundation was terrible. The concealer, only Jaclyn Hill. Only Jaclyn Hill talk about that concealer. So now we all know how good that is. It's not very good. They released some powders, terrible. Bronzers, all of it. All of these launches have been terrible. I think their only good product, because that Jaclyn Hill product is ruined. But I can't even say that that's their last good product because they ruined it by changing the formula. And I don't know what exact, because I watched Jen Loves Reviews video, and the swatches, it does look like the quality has changed. So now I have to redact saying that the OG Jaclyn Hill palette is like the original model is still one of my favorite of all times, but like if you go buy it in stores right now, I don't know what you're gonna get. I don't know what you're gonna get. Whatever. Their other good product, their setting spray is very, very good, but it's a setting spray. Urban Decay teas, like that's what it's giving me. Their setting spray is very, very good, but anyways, okay. Speaking of this change, I've noticed this pattern with Morphe that I don't think people like to talk about because it makes it brings up a conversation that people don't like to have. Okay, so Jaclyn Hill's launches with Morphe haven't gone well, to say the least. They haven't gone too well. I know, walk with me. Jaclyn Hill is absolutely at fault for these launches going poorly. The vault, and then this, like, she's at fault. However, I think Morphe is completely aware of how people don't like her, how people look for things to dislike about her, and because of her track record are expecting things to go poorly. I think Morphe knows that, and I think they take advantage of it. Like this formula change situation. They didn't tell anybody. They didn't tell anybody that they changed this formula, made it non-vegan, because they knew when people found out, they wouldn't get the heat for it. Jaclyn would. First of all, let's talk about their response to this situation. They released an apology, like a statement. Walk with me. I go to school in California. They released this apology. It was 11 p.m. 11 p.m. here. They released this apology. Who's awake? Why are you releasing an apology in the dead of night? Why are you releasing an apology when people are asleep? That's very, very interesting. There wasn't even a real apology. It was more of a statement. They didn't apologize for anything. It was a statement. Why are you doing that in the middle of the night when people are asleep? When no one is awake to actually like pay attention. Why are you doing it then? Oh, that's very, very, very interesting. How they released this apology in the dead of night. 11 p.m., really? And the statement said absolutely nothing. It said, yeah, we changed it and we're not sorry about it. That's basically what it said. Then, so in my opinion, Morphe the company hasn't gotten any of the backlash that it deserved from these absolutely piss poor launches. The vault situation was absolutely ridiculous. And Morphe, in my opinion, the brand should have gotten way, way, way more heat for that. I think Jaclyn got a good, she got enough. She got some, but they weren't held fully responsible. Morphe hasn't been held fully responsible for any of these launches, in any of these piss poor launches that we've seen in the past couple of years. And personally, I know this is a lot to say. I think they take advantage of it. I think they know. I think they know that people are gonna hate it no matter what, because it is Jaclyn. I just think they don't care. I think allegedly they lower the quality. They're like, you know what? This don't have to be that good because it's Jaclyn Hill, because people are gonna, run with it anyway. And yeah, I'm like kind of coming to Jaclyn Hill's defense. I'm not really, because like your name is on the product. This should have never happened, but like they made it. this form, especially with the vault, it's different. But with this formula change, like, they did this. They did this. Both deserve to get heat, but we gotta hold the brand just as responsible as well. All right, now I'm gonna talk about Morphe today, and yeah. Now Morphe isn't flopping per se. Where's my, okay. Morphe isn't flopping per se, but the hype is dwindling. The hype is dying down. People have grown hip. People aren't stupid anymore like we were in 2016 buying 35 pan eyeshadow palettes for absolutely no reason. Nobody needs 35 eyeshadows. Nobody needs 35 shades of brown and beige. Nobody needs that. I'm glad we've all grown up a little bit. So people aren't growing hip to it. Influencers aren't talking about it as much. They're not shoving they like have taken a break from talking about codes now, because I think people got so much hate for that, so they started stopping. And then Morphe has started to sell other brands in their stores. They've been doing this for a while, but I think after the foundation fiasco, they started to pick it up, and a lot more brands started getting added to Morphe's roster and started getting sold in their stores now. So they've cornered like that market, like in indie brands who can only get online or in Morphe. They take on like a beauty bay style role where like this is the only place you can get this brand besides their website. And they've also brought like indie UK brands to America, so now you don't have to pay for the shipping. So like they cornered that market as well. So that's what they are doing now. And they sort of, Morphe's taken, because they've dimmed it down. I don't really think they have a direct direction that they're trying to take this brand in. I think they're kind of just grasping at straws, going for anything, hoping anything sticks. Because the stuff that they've been releasing lately, it's like they're just like literally throwing crap at a wall and seeing what sticks, because it's none of it's sticking. It's all sliding down, all of it. No, that's telling that foundation ruined them. You just don't be stupid. And they just collaborated with Benefit, who hates everyone darker than a paper bag. So that was, you know, fun to see. And they collaborated on this highlighter bronzer that no one can use. No one can use. They collaborated on that. And, you know, that's gonna flop. That's gonna flop. So what are they to do now? Let me actually look at their Instagram, because there's some things we can see on there as well. All right, so I'm on Morphe's Instagram right now. We can scroll. We're gonna scroll for a minute before we see something. Interesting. I'm seeing a Fenty blueprint right here. I'm seeing it with this setting. Oh, they did release a new version of their setting spray. Their setting spray is actually very, very good. I'm seeing a bit of a Fenty blueprint right here. Interesting. For a dollar, name a black person. For a dollar, name a Negro. For a dollar, name a black person who isn't one of the 3 that they only post. The 3. 4. The 4 that they post. Literally, I don't listen. I'm scrolling. Oh, I'm scrolling. Oh, I'm scrolling. All right, we have 1 black male, and I've been scrolling for like a minute now. Okay. Another black person. Oh, she looks good. Yeah. That's why when the 60 Shades came out, sis, ain't nobody believe you. Ain't nobody believe you, because the proof is in the pudding, or it's not there. Actually, it's not there. Nowhere to be found. So yeah, Morphe Beauty's done, it's Morphe brushes. I don't know why I keep calling it Morphe Beauty. They've done, you know, a lot. Most negative, most in my opinion negative. I don't want to sound like I'm saying that they started all of this, but I do think that they popularized it. That undisclosed sponsorship, ooh, was a real, ooh, that's how their whole brand got started. That's how we all learned what Morphe brushes was through like 20,000 undisclosed sponsorships. Yeah, so yes, that's how Morphe changed the beauty industry. Most of the stuff I said in there was negative, so you could argue that they changed it for the worse. I would agree with you. Sorry. All right, so yeah, that's the end of my video. Let me know what you guys think. How do you think Morphe has changed the beauty industry? Do you think they've done any beneficial things? I would argue no. What do you think they've done? How do you think because I think, but those undisclosed sponsorships took us down a different path. Yeah, so yeah, that's the end of my video. Yes, I've said that like 10 times now. So if you would like to follow me on social media, again, here's my Twitter and my Instagram. Check out some of my recent videos that are on the screen here and in your recommended over one of these two places. Yup, have fun with that. And yeah, thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.